A cartoon mouse got yanked off the air over 3.5 seconds. Nobody was supposed to notice. In 1987, that same mouse became the center of one of the biggest controversies in American kids' TV history. But there was a detail almost nobody caught. The cartoon they tried to destroy was quietly building the future of animation. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, Mighty Mouse is unforgettable. But behind that cheerful theme song was a story television never told you. Why did the show the censors killed end up shaping the entire next decade of cartoons? The answer doesn't start with the mouse. It starts with the man who brought him back. Ralph Bakshi was no stranger to controversy. Before reviving Mighty Mouse, he had directed Fritz the Cat, the first X-rated animated film in American history, along with Heavy Traffic and Wizards. Bakshi got his start at Terry Toons back in the 60s, creating the Mighty Heroes. But by 1987, after a string of failures, he couldn't get a new project off the ground. Then he landed a meeting with CBS's head of Saturday morning programming. She turned down every original pitch he brought her, including one built around characters named Ren and Stimpy. She asked what else he had. Bakshi said he owned the rights to Mighty Mouse. She bought it on the spot. Here's the part almost nobody knows. Bakshi didn't actually own those rights. When he went to dig them up, he discovered CBS itself had bought the entire Terry Toons library back in 1955 and forgotten it owned it. In his own words, "I sold them a show they already owned, so they handed him the rights for free." CBS bought a show from itself. And nobody had any idea that same team was about to produce the scene that would tear the whole series apart. Bakshi handed creative control to John Kricfalusi, who assembled a crew of young animators fed up with the cookie-cutter cartoons of the era. Kricfalusi wrote scripts for 13 episodes in a single week and pulled in a wave of talent from CalArts and other studios that nobody even knew existed yet. Without realizing it, was assembling the very team that would go on to create some of the biggest cartoons of the 90s. Among them, Bruce Timm, the future creator of Batman, the animated series, Andrew Stanton, who would go on to direct Finding Nemo, and Wall-E, and Jim Reardon, who would land at The Simpsons. The result was unlike anything else on Saturday morning. Fast, irreverent, wild. It parodied Batman. It mocked Hanna-Barbera. The hero would often just wander off to the side, and the show thrived precisely because of it. A critical smash. A cartoon that wasn't selling toys, wasn't selling cereal, wasn't selling anything. It just wanted to be funny. But that entire creative revolution was about to be judged on 3.5 seconds. The episode was called The Littlest Tramp. It aired on October 31st, 1987. In the story, Mighty Mouse meets a little girl selling flowers in the cold. She offers him what's left of a flower that's already crumbled to dust. Moved, he buys it and pockets the small handful. Later, worn down, he pulls it back out and sniffs it. The episode moves on normally, but the way that moment was animated left an opening for certain groups to read it as drug use. At the time, though, nobody saw a problem. The scene was approved by CBS executives and by the network's Standards and Practices Department. It aired without a single complaint, but editor Tom Klein had been uneasy about it during production. He worried the scene could stir up controversy. Bakshi agreed to cut it. Kricfalusi pushed back, insisting it was harmless. Bakshi listened to him and restored the scene. It aired, and for months, nobody said a word. Then came June 6, 1988. Donald Wildman, head of the American Family Association, a conservative moral watchdog group, publicly accused Mighty Mouse of referencing cocaine. The accusation made national headlines. Newspapers, TV, radio, all of it. Under orders from CBS, the scene was pulled from the broadcast. 3.5 seconds. That's all it took. And here's the irony nobody caught at the time. The moral crusade was fought over 3.5 seconds of a mouse sniffing a flower. But what that animation room was actually doing, the thing the censors couldn't see, was far more radical than any imaginary scandal. At the height of an era when cartoons existed purely to sell toys, Mighty Mouse was the exception. A show made by artists who weren't selling a single product. One that taught a generation of young animators you could be funny, smart, and daring without a toy line behind you. That room was basically an underground classroom. And when the series got torn down, those students scattered across the animation industry and built the next decade of it. Bruce Timm went on to create Batman, the animated series. Andrew Stanton went on to direct Finding Nemo and Wall-E. Jim Reardon and Rich Moore landed at The Simpsons. Jeff Pigeon went to Toy Story. Eddie Fitzgerald and John Kricfalusi went on to create The Ren and Stimpy Show, which redefined Nickelodeon animation and paved the way for Rocko's Modern Life, Dexter's Laboratory, and everything that came after. Without the boldness of that room, Ren and Stimpy might never have existed. Batman, the animated series, might never have existed. Pixar might never have had the storytellers who made it legendary. The show, whose legacy got permanently defined by scandal, was, quietly, building the future those same kids would grow up loving. The crusade over 3.5 seconds accomplished the exact opposite of what it set out to do. Wildman and the American Family Association wanted to clean up kids' TV. Instead, they helped silence the one show teaching a whole generation to be bolder and more creative. And Bakshi paid the price alone. Even though it was Kricfalusi who pushed to restore the scene, even though Bakshi had wanted to cut it in the first place, it was Bakshi who took the fall. He never got another shot at directing a theatrical animated feature. A controversy that started with a mouse ended up burying the career of one of America's most important animators. The show didn't survive. CBS moved it to Saturday's Dead Zone at noon and handed the primetime slot to Garfield and Friends. Season 2 ran just 6 episodes. On October 22, 1988, Mighty Mouse went off the air for good. The DVD release later restored the original scene. Today you can watch the uncut version of The Littlest Tramp and see for yourself there's no cocaine in it, just a flower, a mouse, and a moral crusade that saw exactly what it wanted to see. But the question worth sitting with is this: what else did we get wrong? How many other things, people, ideas, artists got destroyed by accusations that wouldn't survive a single click today? The crusade that ended Mighty Mouse didn't protect anyone. It just erased a chapter of animation history, a chapter that, ironically, was writing the future the whole time. If this video made you look at a cartoon from your childhood in a whole new light, share it with someone who grew up watching Mighty Mouse. And if you want the untold story behind another 80s icon that TV hid from you, subscribe to the channel, because the next video is about a character who seemed completely harmless, but who was hiding a deeply disturbing past. See you there.